of that.
Here's Cunningham.
Oh, what a finish at the rim.
There's nothing on the floor that this kid can't do.
Are you for real, baby?
He's the real deal, and he's continuing to get better and better.
That guy's the overall #1 pick in the NBA draft. He has it.
You could get with this, you could get with that. I think you get with this, 'cause this is where it's at.
Welcome back to NBA Countdown, presented by Mountain Dew.
Well, since the NBA changed the lottery odds in 2017, the three teams with the worst records all have a 14% chance to get the #1 pick. Those teams this year are the Rockets, Pistons, and Magic. Rounding out the top five, the Thunder and Cavaliers each have an 11.5% chance to get a top selection. Phoenix Suns fans, they're not worried about it because their first rounder, Devin Booker, has been playing lights out for them. Already won them one game so far in the Western Conference Finals series against the Clippers. And, you know, there's a guy that works harder than us year-round. His name is Mike Schmitz. He's an ESPN draft analyst, and he's been doing his homework, due diligence, and looking at the top 5 prospects and the intriguing fits that they might have in this year's draft.
Thanks, Maria. So 5 of the most intriguing lottery fits. Let's start at the top with Cade Cunningham and the Houston Rockets. Cunningham, the best prospect in the draft. He can beat you from anywhere on the floor at 6'8". Put the ball in his hands, surround him with shooting and athletes, and he's going to be a star at the next level. Jalen Green and the Detroit Pistons, highly intriguing pairing. Explosiveness, athleticism, dynamic scoring ability, and nobody brings that to the table better than Jalen Green. He has the highest upside in this draft. Jalen Suggs and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, if they end up keeping that top 3 pick, he is a perfect fit alongside Anthony Edwards. They really need some defensive toughness, a winning mentality, a culture changer, and nobody does that better than Jalen Suggs. Evan Mobley and the Oklahoma City Thunder gives them incredible length, 7'5" wingspan, highly versatile, can switch 1 through 5, can handle the ball, can step out, can score on the interior. Excellent fit there with the Thunder. And then maybe my favorite of them all, Scotty Barnes and the Golden State Warriors. If they do end up with the Minnesota Timberwolves pick, Barnes is a match made in heaven with Steve Kerr. They love that small ball style. His spirit, his energy would fit perfectly in Golden State. Back to you guys in Phoenix.
All right, appreciate you, Mike. Working hard, obviously. Now, there are several scenarios in play with tonight's draft lottery. The Rockets keep their lottery pick if they land inside the top 4, but would drop to 18th if they do not. And the Warriors and Magic could also have 2 lottery picks by the end of the night, depending on how the lottery shakes out. And check this out, guys. Klay Thompson's dog, Rocco, he's the good luck charm. Okay, so remember, the T-Wolves pick will go to Golden State if it falls outside of the top 3. So Rocco, the Warriors need you. They would love to have another.
The NBA Draft Lottery, presented by State Farm.
That's the way the ball feels in the hands of a future star.
Here's the real deal.
That's the way the ball spins on the way to a winning 3.
Oh, yes!
That's the way it heats up when handled by the player who could change your fate.
The first pick in the NBA draft.
This is how the fans react when the chips fall where they may.
Goes to the Indiana Pacers.
This is the way the game grows, like the way the wind blows. That's the way the ball bounces. In the game of chance, that is, the NBA Draft Lottery.
Welcome into the 37th annual NBA Draft Lottery, and what an intriguing one it is. I'm Rachel Nichols. I'll be joined soon by Richard Jefferson, Jay Billis here in Los Angeles, as well as Adrian Wojnarowski from the Western Conference Finals in Phoenix. And the star of the night, the lottery order, that will be presented from Secaucus, New Jersey. In addition, we're joined by representatives from all of the 14 teams hoping for that #1 pick here tonight. And let's get started by looking at our draft lottery headlines. The Rockets, the Pistons, the Magic, they have the best possible odds to get the #1 pick at 14%. But that still leaves plenty of room for other teams to jump into the mix. And there is a lot of star power worth jumping up for at the top of this draft class, including Oklahoma State's Cade Cunningham, Gonzaga's Jalen Suggs. Meanwhile, 3 big trades have major implications on tonight's lottery, starting with the Rockets, who could see the rights to their pick go to the Thunder if that pick falls out of the top 4. That was part of the deal Houston made to acquire the since-departed Russell Westbrook. Similarly, the Bulls could also lose their pick to the Magic if it falls out of the top 4. That was a condition of the Nikola Vucevic deal. And finally, as part of the Andrew Wiggins-D'Angelo Russell trade, the Timberwolves lose their pick to the Warriors if it falls out of the top 3, which means the Warriors could end up walking away with 2 lottery picks tonight. Woj, welcome in. What is the latest with Golden State?
Rachel, I think when you look at this lottery tonight, there are multiple teams, I'm told, Cleveland, Minnesota, Houston, who are going to be very aggressive if they're at the top of this lottery with perhaps putting those picks in trades to bring back young veteran players or all-star level players to accelerate their rebuilds. But the Golden State Warriors, they were in this position last year, having the number 2 pick. They selected James Wiseman, and now they have a chance, almost a 70% chance, to be able to get Minnesota's pick and be potentially in the lottery twice. And I think Bob Myers, the Golden State general manager, he tells me they're going to be in the same situation as last year. If some great players became available and they can get an all-star level player to go with Steph Curry and the return of Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, that's certainly going to be an avenue that the Warriors are going to explore.
Thank you so much, Woj. So that's the Warriors side of things. The Timberwolves certainly hoping things play out, that they get the lottery luck and get to keep their pick if it jumps into that top 3 or maybe even number 1 overall, which is where they picked last year, acquiring Anthony Edwards. Edwards was fantastic for the Wolves this season, leading all rookies in scoring, and he joins us now as the Wolves representative tonight. Anthony, welcome. You had the experience of watching the draft lottery last year, knowing that how it panned out, you weren't just a spectator, it was going to have a direct impact on your life and your future, just like the top prospects we've mentioned are sitting around right now going through the same thing. So tell us, what is it like?
I mean, it's mind-blowing. It's kind of, you'd be kind of nervous just watching it to see who's going to get like the first pick, the second pick, the third pick. And after you see that, then you see where you is on a mock draft, and you go from there.
Yeah, you start maybe buying a few winter coats in your case, that sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
What was the biggest experience you had during your rookie year that made an impact on you and you can use in the future?
I think Ricky Rubio had a great impact on my rookie year as far as just being a leader on and off the court and, showing up every day ready to work and never taking days off.
Well, it certainly paid off. Congratulations on so much individual success this season. We will look forward to more team success next season as well. We appreciate you joining us.
Most definitely appreciate it.
Now, there's another team that could walk away with 2 lottery picks tonight, the Oklahoma City Thunder. And that is just the start of the haul of first-rounders the Thunder have. OKC just got another pick in their trade of Al Horford for Kemba Walker, because, of course, they did, which means they have 3 first-round picks in this year's draft. And if you add that to the mountain of other future assets they have, you arrive at the gaudy figure of 18 first-round picks, first-rounders they own over the next 7 drafts. Just incredible. Now, all of that is well and good for OKC, but the Rockets, of course, would prefer to keep that pick, thank you very much, which they will if it falls in the top 4. And no one better to represent the team than Hakeem Olajuwon, the top overall pick himself in the '84 draft, who, of course, went on to become a 2-time NBA Finals MVP. Hakeem, thank you so much for joining us. The Rockets, of course, going through a dramatic change this past season with James Harden leaving. What do you think is most important for the franchise as it sets out here on a new course?
Wow. I think we're just rebuilding. We have a lot of young talent, but looking for that leadership, rebuilding is always very tough. But I think we're in a very good position for these draft choices. If we can get we can protect our pick for the top pick in the draft.
We certainly wish you the best of luck, Hakeem, for getting that pick. Thank you so much for joining us. And I want to turn into the studio here. Richard, some huge possible swings of fate, right? We just talked about Houston, OKC, Minnesota, Golden State. But also fascinating is that what happens tonight can affect teams that aren't even in the lottery, right?
Yeah, famously, if you look at the Brooklyn Nets, they didn't have any pick for multiple years. But what they did is they made a very interesting move. You look back in 2017 when Lonzo Ball became available, and he was the Laker local boy. So then D'Angelo Russell, he became on the trade block. The Brooklyn Nets go out and get D'Angelo Russell, and like Woj said, it accelerated the Brooklyn Nets rebuild. So now all of a sudden you get D'Angelo Russell. He becomes an all-star. The team goes to the postseason, and then it becomes very inviting for big-name free agents to go there. You look at KD, you look at Kyrie. So even though they weren't directly involved in the lottery definitely affected their ability to rebuild extremely quickly.
So the Nets have a big three, basically, because that ping pong ball fell into the Lakers' lap there in that lottery years ago. Now, that's the team side. From the players' side, though, Jay, who is on the top of your draft board that these teams that hope they get that luck are going to take?
Rachel, one of the deepest drafts I can recall since I've been doing this, and the top of the list is Cade Cunningham of Oklahoma State. At 6'8", he is a point guard with extraordinary ability. He's got all the tools, a complete player, a playmaker, three-level scorer, shoots 40% from three. Next is Evan Mobley, the center from USC. He's a versatile defender and shot blocker, a pick-and-roll defending big that can switch out on guards. Number 3, Jalen Suggs of Gonzaga, an excellent leader, surgical in pick-and-roll situations, an elite passer, and can play on the defensive end of the floor. A quarterback in high school and shows it with his ability to pass. Jalen Green out of the G League, maybe the best scorer in this draft, at least potentially. And then Davion Mitchell from Baylor, national champion, the best individual defender in the draft, can get up underneath you, and he is explosive in transition, a much improved shooter that can knock down three-point shots. He may be small, but he's got a huge heart and can really play.
Small relative to other basketball players. I'm 5'4" over here, but sure. As luck would have it, two of those players you were talking about, Baylor's Davion Mitchell, USC's Evan Mobley, they will be joining us in the next segment. And last but certainly not least, Leon Newsom and Mark Dielli, they have brought the envelopes to the podium. So yes, it will be time to reveal the lottery order when we come back from this break.
The NBA Draft Lottery is presented by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. You're watching the NBA Draft Lottery, presented by State Farm.
That guy's the overall #1 pick in the NBA draft. He has it.
And how about Mobley's fifth block?
This dude has the clutch gene. When the game's on the line, he's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. Jalen Green, are you serious right now?
He's got a nickname on his team. It's called Off Night, because usually you have an off night when he's guarding you.
I just want to be a legend.
We are now joined by Davion Mitchell of the national champion Baylor Bears. First of all, Off Night is one of the best nicknames we have heard in a while, so kudos to you on that. What kind of impact do you think you can make right away in the NBA with the way you do play defense?
Yeah, I think defense kind of has been my calling card, and offense has been a thing where I've been working on, and I think it's been successful. But I think defensively I can make it hard for the opposing team's best player. Hopefully, just try to throw something at them that they've never seen before with my quickness, my speed, my hands, and just my physicality throughout the NBA. I think I can make a huge impact on the defensive end.
You have been a menace to opposing players, and at 22, you're one of the older players in the draft. You've also won a national title, so how will that experience help you at the next level?
And it just shows that how to win a championship. It's not just one player; it's the whole team, man. The chemistry, the ups and downs that you go throughout the season. You just got to keep pushing through. There's always going to be a person where just think about themselves, but the leader on the team got to be the person that brings them in and be like, man, like it's a team effort. It's not just one person. I think that's what winning a championship is about, chemistry and also defense. I think defense is, you win championships if you play defense, so I think that also helps win a championship.
Hey, if you already know that, you are halfway there. Thank you so much, Davion. We appreciate it.
No, thank you.
All right, so that's Mitchell, but I do want to ask about our next guest, Evan Mobley. USC maybe didn't go quite as far as Baylor in the tournament, but the Trojans did make a deep run, and Evan was a big part of that, right?
Big-time talent because he can block shots. He blocks almost 3 shots per game. He can switch out on pick and rolls on guards and not only hold his own, he can do very well. As an offensive player, he's got a lot of skill. He's not yet the type that can step away and knock down consistently perimeter jumpers, but he shoots the ball with good form. I think he's going to be a good shooter once he works on it, but he's got big-time talent and a really high basketball IQ.
Well, we can talk to him right now. Evan joining us from the Draft Combine in Chicago. And Evan, your team did make that deep run in the tourney. What did you learn from that experience that you think you can apply to the NBA?
Definitely defense and playing as a team. We went far in the whole entire tournament. It was a great experience overall. I got to play with my brother and my father, and I just learned a lot during that whole entire experience.
Well, Evan, it's a thrill to have you with us. I know you will be paying very close attention to the next few minutes. And now it is time, in fact, to take a look at what percentage chance teams have of getting that #1 pick. Houston, Detroit, Orlando. They had the 3 worst records in the league this season, so they each have a 14% chance. But there's still 11 other teams who could elbow their way in there. And just because their odds are lower doesn't mean a little magic can't happen. Remember, just 2 years ago, the Pelicans had a mere 6% chance of winning the lottery, yet they, in fact, walked away with the right to select Zion Williamson at #1. So who'll walk away with the #1 pick tonight? The folks you're seeing on your screen, sure hope it's them. Representatives from each of the 14 lottery teams joining us virtually this year. And they are all hanging on every word this next man is about to say. Welcome in to the NBA's Deputy Commissioner and Chief Operating Officer, Mark Tatum.
Thank you, Rachel. Good luck, everyone. Pick number 14 will be made by...
This is so dramatic.
The Golden State Warriors.
1 down.
No.
The 13th pick belongs to the Indiana Pacers. Picking 12th will be the San Antonio Spurs. The 11th pick in the draft will go to the Charlotte Hornets.
All right, no surprises yet. Picks still going to form so far.
Pick number 10 will be made by the New Orleans Pelicans. The 9th pick goes to the Sacramento Kings. The 8th pick will be made by the Orlando Magic.
All right, Orlando coming out of that envelope means that Chicago has not jumped into the top 4. Therefore, that pick conveys to Orlando as part of the Nikola Vucevic deal.
The 7th pick belongs to the Golden State Warriors.
All right, that means that we have a jump. Toronto has jumped into the top 4. The Golden State Warriors have their 2 picks set in the draft order.
Pick number 6 goes to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
That means that Cleveland has jumped up. Cleveland jumping up into the top 4. Oklahoma City getting that pick there.
The 5th pick will be made by the Orlando Magic.
All right, the Magic with the number 5 pick. That means that the Raptors, we see Fred VanVleet there. Been a difficult season for them playing down in Tampa. They could use some good news. We'll see if they get the number 1 pick. The Cleveland Cavaliers have had the number 1 pick more than any other franchise. Can they get it again tonight? Kobe Altman will find out very soon. The Detroit Pistons. Good luck, Ben Wallace. He's going to be a Hall of Famer in just a few months, and maybe he'll come home with the number 1 pick tonight. And we also have the Houston Rockets. They are keeping their pick. It does not go to Oklahoma City. However, the Minnesota Timberwolves, as we have seen, are not in this top group. That means Golden State has gotten their pick. Who's going to win number 1? Stay tuned. We'll find out next.
The NBA Draft Lottery is presented by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Welcome back to the NBA Draft Lottery, presented by State Farm.
All right, Devin Booker taking shots before Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. Sun center DeAndre Ayton also playing a huge role tonight, and he just caught up with Cassidy Hubbard.
We're about to reveal the top 4 teams in the draft lottery. You attended the draft lottery in Chicago back in 2018. What do you remember about your emotions that night as you were about to find out where you're going to go?
Man, once I realized that, Phoenix Suns had the number 1 lottery, it was all said and done. I didn't want to work out for another team. I just wanted to be home. And, it worked out best for me. I got blessed to be here for high school, college, and now the NBA. So I'm blessed.
Yeah, you got picked first overall and now in the Western Conference Finals. Good luck tonight.
Thank you very much.
Back to you, Rach.
Thanks so much, Cass and DeAndre. Well, it is time to find out whose franchise is about to take a dramatic turn. The Rockets, the Pistons, the Cavaliers, the Raptors, they are all still in the running for that number 1 overall pick. So let's go back to Mark Tatum. You got a lot of nervous folks wanting to know what's in those envelopes, Mark.
Thanks again, Rachel. The 4th pick in the 2021 NBA Draft presented by State Farm goes to the Toronto Raptors. The 3rd pick goes to the Cleveland Cavaliers. The 2nd pick will be made by the Houston Rockets, and that means that the number 1 pick in the 2021 NBA Draft goes to the Detroit Pistons.
Let's roll, baby. Let's roll. Congratulations to Hall of Famer-elect Ben Wallace. Now, your team got a gem of a pick last year. Saddiq Bey made first-team All-Rookie. Now, with a number 1 overall level of talent, what do you think that can do for the Pistons as soon as this upcoming season?
It's going to mean a lot. It's going to mean a lot for this team. I think the team is heading in the right direction. We got a group of young guys who comes out and play hard on both ends of the floor. It's one of those teams where, guys come out and they make plays with their energy and effort. And to add a number 1 pick to that caliber of team, the sky should be the limit for this team.
Well, if there is anyone who knows about energy and effort, it is you, friend. Congratulations on the Hall of Fame and on the number 1 overall pick. And for the rest of the teams, here is the entire draft lottery order. The Pistons right up there at number 1. The Rockets still in a fantastic position at number 2. The Cavaliers continue to have great lottery luck this decade. They're at number 3. All the way through, you can see to the Golden State Warriors, they will have 2 picks at number 7 and number 14. So I want to bring it back in here to the studio. Richard Woj, from your perspective, what are the biggest takeaways from the team side with the way the order panned out? And we can start with you, Adrian.
Rachel, I talked to Troy Weaver, Detroit's general manager, earlier today. He told me there are 4 players at the top of this draft he would dig into if they got the number 1 overall pick, but certainly it starts with Cade Cunningham. His representatives of XL Sports told me Cade Cunningham is going to visit 1 team. That's a team who had the number 1 pick. Detroit did not miss the last time they had the number 1 pick. They took Bob Lanier out of St. Bonaventure in 1970.
Well, look, what I really like about this Detroit now roster is you kind of possibly see it panning out. You had 2 all-rookies. You had Saddiq Bey, you had Isaiah Stewart. So you had 2 all-rookie players. That means that you have a young group of players that are starting to grow. I love what Jeremy Grant did. So, I don't know who the Detroit Pistons are going to pick, but if you are a Detroit Pistons fan, your future is looking brighter and brighter.
Jay, you knew that Woj had to get that Bonnie's reference in there. Now that we have seen that it is the Pistons with that number 1 pick, does it change for you who should be number 1 given the fit there?
No, I still think it's Cade Cunningham. He's the most complete player in the draft at both ends of the floor. He's an outstanding passer. He's got great poise with the ball. He can shoot it, a 3-level scorer, as we mentioned before. He's also an underrated defender that's a fantastic rebounder for his position. With his size and length and all of his skill set, I think Cade Cunningham is the best prospect in this draft. And you take a look at the top 3 overall on my board, and I don't have a board, my list. I've got a piece of paper. Everybody's got a board. Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, the most talented big guy, and Jalen Suggs, an outstanding point guard that plays at both ends of the floor at a really high level.
You know who has a board? Jonathan Givony has a board. Let's take a look at his top 5 here. He also has Cade Cunningham with the Pistons. He thinks the Rockets will select Mobley. He thinks the Cavs will select Jalen Green. He thinks the Raptors will go after Jalen Suggs, and the Magic will draft Jonathan Kuminga. For the rest of Givony's mock draft, you can go to ESPN.com/NBA/draft. Thursday and Friday of this week is the NBA Draft Combine. Meanwhile, the draft itself just a little more than a month away. On Thursday, July 29th, we'll have coverage on ESPN and ABC. Thanks for joining us for the lottery tonight. Now we've got Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. Take it away, the Hall of Famer, Mike Breen.
Thank you, Rachel. We go from future NBA stars to the current crop, and there are still plenty alive in these NBA playoffs, including this Western Conference Final. We welcome you to a Tuesday night in Phoenix, Arizona, Game 2 between the Suns and the LA Clippers. And another raucous crowd expected. They were packed on Sunday afternoon for the Suns' victory, and ready to go once again as we welcome you to NBA Courtside, presented by Ally.